Hello, my name is Zivyang, and this will be a presentation on EE 104, Lab 6. This is going to be the speaking chatbot part. Let me share my screen. So what we have here is essentially a mini chatbot where similar to ChatGPT and Alexa, it talks back to you. Um, I guess more similar to Alexa, but similar to Alexa and Google Assistant, where you have a chatbot that will interact with you and talk to you. This is a mini scale version of that. So let me explain the code. So these first block lines 6 through 22, they essentially import libraries. And the first library, PyTTS X3, it's basically importing the talking voice for it to speak to us. Speech recognition, that's another built-in Python library where it enables us to have speech recognition. Import date time, this allows us to recognize the current date and time of the day when this chatbot gets launched or run through the IDE. Import Wikipedia, so it allows us to scrub through Wikipedia. Import web browser, it's another Python library similar to Wikipedia where we can access web browsers. Import OS, that's just the OS library. Import time, so we want to be able to recognize the time and day, so time is needed. So that's yet another Python built-in library that we have to install. Import request, so when we submit a request, it has to process it. So this is regarding that. And the rest of them are just so that we can, lines 14 to 22 are just so that we can scrub through the APIs and access the Google client files. And it essentially asks like the AI portion of this code. Because we're creating a chatbot that interacts with us, we have to be able to connect to the API in order for that to happen. So, and then the last one from Google Trans Import Translator. So this allows us to import the translator service from Google. And the way this code works is it's also based on the language of your computer. So if you have a different language set on the computer, it will change its language um, to a different language with an accent. So let's say that if you have like Greek enabled, then it will change it to Greek. Or if you have Chinese enabled, then it will have like a Chinese accent for the AI bot. Um, so this first line, the first official line of code, I guess, where it starts the program is line 26, B is equal to Spartan. So we're naming it Spartan and engine PyTT X3.init SAP 5. This and the voices equals to engine.get property voices. Those three lines of code, lines 27 to 29, they set up the voice engine for the chatbot. So next we're going to move on to def speak. So def speak is basically a speak function and it speaks out loud to us and I will show you when we run it. But this essentially sets up the speaking function for the code for this chatbot. Get the current hour. So def greetings. This is based on whatever hour of day that we are in. So that's why the import date time and import time libraries are needed because this is going to be based on whatever time it is when you run this code and it will greet you accordingly. So the lines 52 to 57, uh, it basically sets up the text lists. Uh, so based on what we give it, it's going to be responsive based on that. So when we say this gives us the library of text that we need. So based on the need list, it will say, what can I do for you? Do you want something else? Give me a question. Based on the sorry list, it'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer. I have an idea about it. Sorry, EE104, try again. Based on the buy list, it will say goodbye, EE104. So that's when you exit out of the program. It is not a joke, EE104. I was serious. Do you think that this is a joke? So it's a comic list and a greeting list. Hi, EE104. So these are the text lists that will respond to us when we run the code. So def weather Spartan. So this first functionality for the chatbot basically scrubs through Google and determines whatever the weather is for the city that we are in. Um, and it's enabling to it's connecting to the Google website. That's why we needed the web browser function as well in Python for this code. So it scrubs through Google and gives us the weather. And it's going to format that data as a string.split, and it's going to list it as a new line, so date, time, and sky. And Lines 84 to 86 is basically going to give us the list div, soup.findAll div. That is all basically formatting the data for it, as well as retrieving the weather data from Google. And then finally, lines 92 to 97, we're going to print all the data. So print at whatever city, the temperature will be this, and the description of the sky and the time. And then if it doesn't run, then it will just run an exception block right here that will just say sorry. And that's why it says enable speak sorry. The speak function basically will talk back to us. So the next block of code, which is basically arguably the meat of this code, is lines 109 to 230, where we're basically going to enable it to have different commands. So for example, uh, for this first block, who is basically saying, oh, who is this, or it's going to say hello, and it's going to speak the greeting hello. And then once it runs, we can say, oh, elf play. So then once we play it, it's going to take us to this YouTube channel where we can play our music. And then it's going to say, oh, there are lots of different music. You could select one. So the time.sleep, that's basically a sleep timer where it doesn't talk and then it will talk. So, and then it's like a need random.choice need list. That's basically a random choice listing for it. And then else query. So if you want to exit out, it'll just say exit or buy. So once we put in those commands, it will just shut down the chatbot. So it's the same thing for the motivate. So if you want to say, oh, motivate, then it will say speak motivate, or aha, it will say aha. Um, Also for the next block of code, you have Facebook. So when we put in Facebook in the chatbot, it'll just take us to the Facebook login page. Else if weather. So that's basically saying, okay, we want the weather, so it'll take us to uh, the weather page for it, um, and it will give us the weather. So these three blocks of code are for this task where I added my own three commands. So I put in what is going on today. So that's going to take us to Google News, take me to my email. That takes us to our Gmail, the Gmail page, so we can access our login for email, and then take me to a bank. So it'll take us to a bank login page. And whenever we reach these destinations, the websites, it'll respond back with a follow-up command. So for the news, it's going to be here are your headlines. For the email, it's going to be open your email login page. And then for the bank, it's going to be basically opening your bank login page, and then it's just going to say pay your bill. So we can also say shut down laptop. And so these commands are for that. And the next block is from 197 to 205. So this basically what it does, it scrubs through Yahoo to see if any questions are how is or when. So it's like a back search for it. So in case we want to ask how is this or how is that, then it will scrub through Yahoo. Um, and then we have all of these lines 208 to all the way to 231. It basically just processes whatever information we get, and then it will provide the follow-up. And then the last block from 234 to 243, it's just a boot sequence. So let's suppose that we don't cancel out, we don't hit the lines basically above where it says um, basically when we don't say okay exit or when we're done, then we'll just keep booting up. So it'll run as an infinite loop until we decided to okay, we're done. That's similar to an actual chatbot, except sometimes for Alexa, you have to give the keyword Alexa and then it terminates. But normally those devices are always listening, so it's almost always on, unless if you unplug it yourself. But anyways, that is it for this part of the lab. Thank you so much and have a great day. Um, Also, I should probably run the code. So let me run the code. Let me hit play.
Good evening, my name is Spartan. Version 1.00. How can I help you, EE104?
So now we can enter the commands that I created. So we put what is today.
Opening latest news for
So
you.
it'll open the news,
Here are your headlines.
and it will say here are your headlines. And we can try it for taking me to my email.
Opening your email login page. Nice. Your inbox looks clean.
So that's our email page. And uh, lastly, we're gonna have it take me to a bank. So take me to a bank
Opening your bank login page. Pay that
and
bill.
pay. It says pay that bill. So that was created whenever we whenever we open up the bank page. And some other ones that we previously mentioned, we can try. Let's see. Uh, we can try play.
There are a lot of music.
And it says
Select
there's
one.
a lot of music. So then we can just select one from here. Um,
I want to take time with you. Do you want to know something else?
yeah, it will ask a follow-up command. And then once we're done with that, we can just say exit.
Goodbye, EE104. I will miss you.
Yeah, that's the exit command. So thank you. This has been Lab 6 for E104, the speaking chatbot. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.